So hi and welcome. Today I have a special dude.
Hey.
And yeah, you're just gonna, I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're just gonna be sharing more about what we do and about Technotutor and about our journey as well. And yeah, you can just go on and tell about yourself, introduce yourself and what we are here, because we do not usually spend time together. You are in Canada, I'm in Germany, so you can say introduce yourself and tell why you're here, and yeah, we can move from there.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Kiana. Viany and I met at a gin event in Mexico.
Yeah.
Right, about 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was January 2020.
Yeah, January 2020. Yeah. So about a year and 8 months, something like that. And it was cool because when I met Viany, he seemed like kind of a motivated guy. And then we didn't really talk much at the event, but I was doing Technotutor at the time as a business, and that's my main focus now still. And my brother and I, we also own like a few other companies, like investment funds and things like that. And what happened was I ended up talking with Viany last year, end of the year, and we were both into gin, so we had kind of like a personal development mindset. And that club gin, it's basically called the Global Information Network. So it was a network of people who are looking to grow, have a better life, success, better relationships, things like that. So Viany and I kind of had that mindset, so we got along. And then he ended up getting a distributorship with Technotutor. And maybe you don't know exactly what that is, but if you watch some of his other videos or some videos that I have, it kind of explains it. But it's really simple. It's just basically an educational technology that allows you to program any information into you at record speeds, virtually. So I guess that was something that I've used for myself for the last 5 years. And through using that, I've noticed significant impacts in my life. So I noticed my relationships were the first thing that really started to get better. And then what happened after that was my income started to increase dramatically. So I was working a sales job back when I was 20 years old, and I was only making 6 figures a year, about $110,000, and I'd take a few months off in the year because I was self-employed. But the problem I had was I wasn't actually financially free and independent. I was still kind of working for somebody else. So I was still just, going to work 12-hour days, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, but I wasn't actually fulfilled and happy with what I was doing, and I wasn't interested in that product that I was selling at the time, and I worked for different sales companies. But then that's when I found Technotutor, and I initially got it for myself and started using it, and that's when I opened my first business after that, which was like a laundromat. Super simple thing to do. I just bought over a laundromat. And then I got involved in investments with my brother. So our main fund has gone from like $3,000 to $3 million just over a few years. Viany's.
Yeah, we do invest together.
We invest together, so he's in that.
So it's really interesting to see, because you have touched all those points, and like I was mentioning earlier, we are here. Like, we do not live like together, but we came here. And this is like a retreat, kind of like a mastermind, only for distributor of Technotutor. I don't know if you can touch on that, why we are here specifically and where we are at as well. Yeah,
for sure. So right now we're in Jefferson, Texas. We're at the ranch of Cameron and Katie Cope, who are the co-founders of Technotutor. So basically they co-founded the company with Avery Williams. He's also here. And this is just kind of a private event for the distributors who are really moving themselves. And they invited everyone worldwide. So Viany's from Germany, I'm from Canada. There's people from like multiple different countries, like Netherlands, who've come here, other places too. And it's really just a retreat to like have fun, like enjoy ourselves. We're just like growing together.
Like a mastermind, like a real mastermind.
Yeah, masterminding. People are fishing, like going on boats, shooting guns. Eating at good restaurants. What else?
Yeah, like
riding ATVs around.
ATV around. Yeah, fishing, spending time at 9, like I don't know, 10 p.m. or 12 p.m. midnight,
1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Just spending time together, which is what you really need in order to develop yourself, right? That kind of community. That it doesn't matter what you do, if you do not have that community, you probably are not going to be able to grow.
Yeah.
Because I'm here, and yes, many people are asking me questions about what I'm doing, how I'm growing myself in the business, but I'm also asking it questions like, okay, like how do I get better? How do I improve in my business and in my life? Which is really cool here.
Yeah. And that's really cool because me and Asif are some of the top distributors in the company, but I'm asking those same questions to people who've had more experience than me, or even newer people. I'm learning from them because they're taking different approaches that I never considered before. So that's like the real benefit of a mastermind, right?
100%.
Where everyone can learn from each other. Plus we have tons of fun all day.
Yeah.
And we're like pushing each other to grow, challenging each other. It feels like uncomfortable sometimes, and then like you just like let go of that point of fear because somebody pointed it out to you and they kind of explained it to you. So that's something that I think a lot of people don't really have in their communities that they can come to on a regular basis. And we have this here, which is amazing, in Jefferson, Texas, and they'll probably do events regularly. But the beautiful thing about when we go home, Viany has a clubhouse where he is in Germany. I also have a clubhouse. We have a self-perfected clubhouse, in Ottawa, Canada. Mitch has one in Minneapolis, Minnesota. They're all around the world, which is really great.
100%. And also, like, what would you say, what got you to first start using Technotutor, and why did you decide to become a distributor?
That's a really good question. I probably invested like $100,000 in personal development, and
like, what did you do? Like, can you touch those points? Like, you don't have to go into detail, but like touch what you did.
Yeah. So I've done like BEST treatments. It's called bioenergetic synchronization technique to unblock patterns and all that. I've done tapping, like emotional freedom technique, EFT and TFT, thought field therapy. I've done Reiki. I've done like different types of deep tissue massages to blow out things in my body. Like,
have you tried Sedona?
I haven't done Sedona, but I have friends who've done that.
Yeah, I did Sedona.
That's pretty intense.
Also, ashram.
I haven't been to the ashram. I know Mitchell has.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to the ashram and do stuff like that. Yeah. I've done like different cleanses and things like to help my mind become better. Reading books, listening to audios. Went to like Tony Robbins, walked on fire. I met Ty Lopez in person. Went to his events, had a private dinner with him and other like some of his friends and mentors. So a lot of stuff like that. I've been to like multiple different countries, just trying to figure out like what's the answer to actually living a fulfilled life, and that includes relationships, like community, having family around you, whether that's your blood family or just friends who would pretty much do anything for you, having that really sense of brotherhood or sisterhood, and how can you really be free to really express and do anything you want. Those two big points. So financially independent, being able to travel, do things that are exciting and fun in life. And I found that I think maybe a lot of people can relate to this, not only myself but a lot of people have struggled with these two areas of having people you could really trust around you, having a community. And I always tell people like there's no point of really, it's okay to have relationships, but what I really look for is having lifelong relationships, because I personally don't see any reason why a relationship should end. And if it did, it's because something probably went wrong. Because if nothing went wrong and things are going smoothly, I'll always leave my door open to that other person. So when I saw the Technotutor community, I saw a group of people that I could be lifelong friends with, and they really cared about one another, and they cared about pushing each other in their personal relationships, in building business and finance, in anything that they were going through. It was really a custom thing. It wasn't just like, you do this, you come into our MLM.
And also this point of you saying that it's not just to say, okay, to say, hi, how are you, and then that's it. Because some people, when they say they care about someone, it's just to ask them, hey, how are you doing, right? But that's not what we do. We actually look at, okay, where are you at in your life right now, and what is your next step to take, and then we support you or push you to take that step. Yeah, that's really the difference.
And that's why I really joined and got Technotutor in the first place. I saw what it's done for other people. And then why I became a distributor specifically was because I saw nobody else out there was looking to actually change the system that we live in. Nobody was providing a real solution to heal all and cure all poverty, all illness, all disease. And these things are known that, like, 20,000 people die a day from hunger. We don't need that to happen. It's preventable. It's a preventable cause. 3,000 to 6,000 people or more get raped every day. And to me, that was unacceptable. So I realized that there's a lot of people here that are actually looking to rise up in positions of leadership and take full responsibility, not only for their life, but for community, for their, for their countries as well. And then actually go out and change the laws where everyone can be provided for. We actually have good education, good food, good nutrients, good everything.
Good everything, because we have everything in abundance in the world. But we are gonna go into that maybe in another video to really go deep in what we really want to do, because yes, we are out there wanting to improve ourselves, our life, but the main point is to actually change the environment where we are in. Because if you only change from one person, and that's fine, but over time that's not sustainable if the whole system is not changed, because the environment that you are in is so it has so much impact in your life that a lot of things that you are not even aware of. So if you really want to do that, you're gonna have to go all in, not just change one person's life, but the whole thing. But to get there, it's one person at a time. Find one person, make that person improve the life of that person, and then find another one, and then go there. So what would you then say that has been major change that you've seen the moment you started then really applying yourself with Technotutor? And before that, what was the actual change that you could say?
Right. So when I first bought Technotutor, I guess it was 6 years ago. I didn't really use it much the first couple years. We didn't have all the support that we do now. But when I really started to engage myself was in 2018, January, after coming back from a gin event. I had spoken to Cameron, a few other people, Gavin as well, and they really showed me how to use it to look at things that I was afraid of, that I wasn't addressing, like childhood programs that were put into me from my mother and father, that I was kind of just trying to push aside and become successful, but it didn't work. So I actually had to dig all that up and then really solve it and understand it and heal those emotional traumas and beliefs and change all of that, of who I thought I was in my personal identity. And then it took about a year of doing that where I saw the bigger picture. I was like, wow, this actually works. This is not just hype or hocus pocus or positive thinking. It's actually how you can go in and fundamentally change the human being and how they see their reality, because it all comes from our thoughts, and a lot of people don't know where their thoughts come from. So it taught me all that, and then after a year of really applying myself, that's when I saw things shift and change financially with my relationship with my brother. We never used to barely talk. Now we have 4 or 5 companies together, and we could virtually never work a day again in our life, which is really amazing. And we're both in our 20s, so it's pretty cool. I'm really grateful for that. And then that's when I took on the role of sharing this with others, because I realized if it's just me and my brother who are happy and successful or whatever, and I have to look at my neighbor who is struggling to raise their child or educate them or provide financially, that would make me sad, because I realize we're all connected. So that's when I took on that bigger responsibility of wanting to make a difference in the world, because you can't just seclude yourself and be happy. We need everyone to be provided for and be happy, for all of us to reach our highest level of bliss or enlightenment or happiness, or really bring heaven on earth, to put it simply.
Because that's really a good point. Okay, I've used it, I've seen how much it has changed my life, and then now decided to support other people to take the same path, so that they can also improve their life and themselves. That's a really good point. And I remember when we first met, how would you describe how I was and how I am right now? Because that's I just laugh when I think back then when I met you for the first time, and now where I am at today. It's really, I know my story, but how did you then perceive me back then and right now? How would you say?
So I'm gonna expose the real truth about Viany. I was gonna say that next, but I'm glad you asked. So I'm joking, it's not gonna be that bad. So don't worry. Viany might kick me off if it gets too, he'll edit it. No, I'm joking. So I think a lot of people will be able to relate, because Viany reminded me a lot of myself when I was me just a couple of years ago. You know, kind of.
I think that was a big point why I really understood everything. Is because when you share your story, I could relate so much with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I felt that, I just realized that connection of like so many similar points, like how many other people are going through this, you know, if you really think about it. It's great that why we're making this video. So Viany was, I guess the way you described yourself was kind of like more timid or shy in some situations.
Yeah.
And then we both had a thing where like I was really nervous around women. I never really dated, things like that. And Viany was also looking to get into a long-term relationship, and he's making a lot of progress on that side. And then also in terms of business and financially, like a lot of men are afraid to stand up and put their foot down and just be determined and choose their purpose, because you don't find your purpose, you choose your purpose. There's nothing to find. It's just a decision to make. And the purpose that we could all choose is our highest purpose, right? And what would make the biggest difference in the world is to do everything you can to support other people.
100%.
So when I explained that vision in that context and told my story, I saw Viany, like there's like a light bulb that went off in your head, and you're like, I want to be, you're like, even if I have to pay to get into your network, and I don't get anything, and I don't, like, just to talk to you guys.
Just to be there, yeah. This is really crucial, because I remember when you asked me, like, what is like your biggest dream? And I say, okay, I want to build Africa. You say, wow, that's great, but what we are doing is to build the entire world. I was like, damn, this is the first person who actually think like that. I've been around so many people, well, not that many because I was so shy, but all the people who were there talking was just like, well, I want to make money, I want to do this and that, but you were the only person who really said, no, we want to build the world. That was like, for me, like, this is like it.
And like, think about that. How is that a purpose? Everyone could go make money or become, like, build a business or get a doctorate degree, become a doctor. You know? But what we're doing actually includes every single human being's dream. Like, the reason I'm sitting here, because I'm here to do something for your family and your grandkids and your entire neighborhood and everyone on your street. That's why Viany is sitting here.
100%.
Now, today, he has 3 streams of income. He was working just a job as a scientist before. Now he's got a business, he's got investments, he has income from employment and things like that. He has 3 streams of income that I know of, maybe more, I don't know. And we're making him money every month in you know, investments. He's building his network. I think you have an international business. Just within 1 year. How many countries are you in?
Not even 1 year. Like USA, Europe, Africa, and Australia. So it's like everywhere.
So there's like 4 continents, like multiple countries in less than 12 months.
Yeah, like 8 months, because I joined in February this year.
Wow.
So, and prior to that, I was maybe like 5 or 6 years into personal development. And my life kept getting worse. But with using Technotutor, after like 8 months, the growth that I've seen within myself or as a person, because like you said, I was shy to death. But now, what I've overcome so far is just, even for me, it's so mind-blowing, because I never thought of myself being able to do that. It's just crazy. Like,
even this, like, check out his YouTube channel. Like, how many people are willing to step up and look at what he's talking about. I remember when we met at the gin event, we had a phone call like 8 months, 10 months later. And I didn't remember I met you because you're so shy we didn't even talk. So I was like, oh yeah, you're that guy. And I barely even, and then he's like, remember we met outside the hotel thing and all that. I was like, then it finally clicked. But I actually forgot, to be honest, you know? But that just goes to show like how much you've developed and changed, you know? So I think what's really important is we're looking to support other people is the big thing. And what would you say, like, I guess, what would you say your purpose is in like being here as well?
Yeah, it's the same thing, like, because what you choose to do is going to determine the kind of person you're going to become. So if you just say you want to make money, then you're not even going to grow that much. Because if you look at anything, like it could be Amazon or Apple or whatever, because I can remember best for Microsoft, he said he wants to like have computer in every desk in the world. That was even before he started Microsoft. So that can show you the vision that those kind of people have even before they start anything. So, but having computer is fine, right? But what we are doing is way more than that. So to be able to have that kind of vision, and also not knowing that other people, what other people do or how they feel or how they live, it affects me. I don't really feel good when I walk somewhere and I see people lying on the street, sleeping there. I mean, it doesn't feel that good. I can try to lie to myself, I don't care, but it doesn't really feel that good. But to be able to know that I can provide a solution for them, it's really a drive for me to want to do it and to be able to do it and to have the group of people as well, because there are certain things that you cannot do by yourself. You need other people who are also going into that path so that you can work together. And I found that in Technotutor.
And that's such a good point. It's like a lot of us think we could just separate ourselves and what other people do doesn't affect us. But everything we do affects everyone.
That's a great point.
Because that bum on the street, your child or your neighbor's going to see that. And there's always that small fear that if you don't do the right things, you could end up like that and nobody's going to help you.
100%.
Right.
And what we also do with Technotutor, you can also share that, because what we receive as education from 0 to 7 determines like everything that we are going to be living the rest of our life. So even if you're out there trying to make something for yourself to happen, you may constantly be hitting limitations or walls and never find yourself being able to cross them. You may go to Tony Robbins seminar, Les Brown and stuff like that, but you're gonna get pumped with that energy, but you will never like go past those limits. Maybe you can touch on that one.
Right. So that's a key thing. A lot of people, I think they don't realize that they actually have to fundamentally change who they are in order to achieve what they want, the things they want. Whether that's a lifestyle or a certain house or car or relationship or whatever it is, right? But what Viany and I and everybody here had to do by getting Technotutor and using the tools that we recommend, like the Destiny I process, is we actually had to go back into our childhood. And I briefly mentioned it before, but just to expand a little bit on it, is go back into our childhood, look at every single thing that we've ever heard or learned, every sound that we've heard, because when you hear something, it actually programs your mind like a computer, right? We're all just like computers, and computers are an expression of us, actually, who we are. And they're programmable. So we have this body, this hardware, and then the software is programmable. So what we don't realize is when your mom or when you knocked over a glass and it broke and your mom yelled at you and then started fighting with your dad or whatever, that got programmed into you, and you actually have to rewrite that memory that got programmed into you, that it's bad to make mistakes, it's bad to break a glass, all of these things. Now, not to say like people could be clumsy and things like that, but nobody should be afraid of making mistakes, right? And that's what all of us have been programmed with. If you work a job, it's because you're afraid of making mistakes and becoming an entrepreneur. The definition of entrepreneur is taking risk, right? So what I actually had to do, what Viany had to do, what all of us had to do is, and we're still doing it every day, it's going to take multiple years to actually work through all of our beliefs, limitations of programming. That's why I don't have $1 trillion yet and haven't changed the whole world or the whole system. It's because I'm still growing, right? And all of us together, we're all doing it together. But it doesn't have to be one person. That's the other thing. We're doing it as a group. That's why nobody could stop what we're doing. But we actually have to go back. Okay, sit down. It's a process that we do on a daily basis by developing our vocabulary so we can express ourselves in different ways, right? But at the same time, there's a process called self-forgiveness. And you can find it. Viany can introduce you to it. Just send him a message. He's available. Send me a message. I'm available on Facebook. But there's a process of going into your memories and actually letting go of everything that you developed yourself to believe in that's actually limiting you. And then there's a correction process of how to create a new result after you've let go of that memory. And it's impossible to do. It's literally physically impossible to do if you're not using Technotutor every single day, and if you're not doing the Destiny I process Lite and then the Destiny I process Pro. So there's tons of information that we could share with you about that. But if you join Self-Perfected,
that's right,
I'm allowed to give a shout out.
Sure.
If you join Self-Perfected, right? You could go to our website, go to the YouTube channel. We have podcasts on that. And then you could join the Facebook group too. Subscribe to Viany's channel. But if you message me, if you contact Viany, we will spend as many hours as needed to sit down with you, get on a Zoom call, or meet in person if you're in our city, and we'll take as much time as needed to make sure you could achieve anything that you want by letting go of trauma, forgiving yourself for the past, and creating a new future.
100%.
Right?
I think this is also another point, because when you see all of those improvement groups, they just like present you a program and then say bye. You just take like whatever program and then you have no one to really support you. But with what we do, you have that support, like a lifetime support.
Exactly.
And you have access to our entire community. So even if I'm supporting you and you bring up a point that I'm not aware of, or like how do I go like from 0 to a millionaire, I can say, hey, Kiana knows more about that than I do. And then because you are in our network, you just go to Kiana and Kiana knows that, okay, you are in our network, and that's it. You get shit done.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how the elite operate. You know, they work as a team. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's cool.
So yeah, that will be like a little about like our journey so far. Of course, it's more to that, but we cannot do it like in one video. But it's just to share like how other people are also using those same tools to really living up their lives. So yeah, any last word that you would like to share?
I would just say the biggest thing is you can watch this, but don't fool yourself by just sitting behind a computer. Actually take some action, like right now today, and send Viany a message. Send me a message. Reach out to us, because how else are you going to get what you want?
100%.
You know?
Because if you don't have what you want now, it's because you do not have the ability or the capacity to have it. So if you want to have them then, you're going to have to do something else than what you have been doing up until now. And it has to be something different, because you cannot say, okay, I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, for example, and then I have to go there again. So if you went there and you did not get the result that you're looking for, maybe it's time to try something else. Because if you keep on doing the same thing, you're just going to be like spending more money and not actually getting the result that you want to have. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just reach out, and yeah, you're going to see how you're going to do it.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome, man.
Thanks for having you, Kian.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so next time.